All right, hello, my friends. So, in this next installment, I wanted to take the opportunity to walk through some of the prep work to make your life easier once you actually start making the masks. Now, if you get to the point where you get a little assembly line going, you've got a space, and I absolutely refuse to show you my dining room right now, but I actually have, there's a method to my madness. I've got things laid out in piles and some of the materials that I've already pre-cut and are waiting. That's kind of next level, and I'll cover that in the 200 level series. But if you're just really thinking, I've got a little bit of free time this week, I have a little bit of fabric at home, a couple materials available, whether or not you even have a sewing machine, maybe you know someone who does, so you could do some prep materials for them. Um, just some of the down and dirty basics on how to get the materials prepped. What you don't want to do is have to sit down at the sewing machine, get up and do a bunch of more work, then go sit down, get up and sit down. Now, the way that I have my station here now is I have my sewing machine on my table, my chair, and then the ironing table set up. That's worked really well for me because then everything's kind of within reach. It makes it easier, but you'll figure out a system that works well for you. But if it's your first time, don't overstress it. Just find, even if it's just garbage fabric that you have no intention of actually, doing anything with, it's a good opportunity to just kind of test it out. Now, this particular one is a little wonky because it comes from a pillowcase, one of those shams, so it's got a couple weird little layers in it. Ugh. So I'm going to hack this up a little bit more. So this is actually going to be pretty realistic to what a lot of you probably have in your homes. That's thinking chairs, so that does not help anybody. There you go. Which is just scraps of fabric that, you've been holding on because you're a hoarder and you don't want to get rid of anything because you might use it someday. And if there's anything that this pandemic is going to teach all of us, is that maybe the hoarders were onto something. Let's see. That should be a really interesting TLC show someday. I'm just going to rip some of that up. For the purposes of this one, I'm going to do a 9-inch by 11-inch. So eyeballing it, and for my poor Canadian friends, just know that everything's going to be in inches just because it's been too long. And that's the only ruler I have. So, Bob Howie for state representative. I have no idea where this is from. So just like eyeballing it. So if we do, we're going to do a 9 by 11. I'm going to want to cut off probably this excess because it's got a seam. We'll do something like this. We'll do the 11 this way. Probably go from this edge because there's no seam. So we'll do 9. And 9. Now, keep in mind, you're going to want 2 layers of this, right? So, is this the point at which I'd say I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing? So these are literally, I've made this up. So I'm going to want 9 by 11 for this particular one. I'm going to fold it in half because I'm going to want to iron it and get all of these little annoying wrinkles out, because that's going to cause some inaccuracies down the road. So let's iron that sucker. And because, again, perfectionist but lazy, I'm not stressing too much about everything being perfectly lined up at this stage, because watch the magic. Once it's ironed and looks all pretty, is when I'm going to cut the measurement. Nah, it's not perfect. I did figure out, because of course I did, how to achieve perfection by using a paper cutter, which just brings me no end of joy. But for now, we're going to use this. And eyeballing it is completely fine because there's all sorts of little hacks for cleaning up edges and making sure everything's aligned later on down the road. If you're lazy like I am, like spending a ton of time at the beginning measuring and pinning and all of that just doesn't make utter waste of time, and I'm already bored talking about it. All right, so there we have the basis of it. So now the next layers. And this particular one, I'm gonna make, let's do part interface, part vacuum cleaner bag. So I'm running really, really low on interfacing right now. This is all that I have left, and it's back ordered till April 25th. I'm gonna try to think of how best to, probably if I do it in thirds, yeah. How best to measure this so I can make it go as far as possible. For purposes of, you know, this instructional video, I'm going to use this, but I've actually learned to, on some of them, it's probably better just if I run out of interfacing to make the insertable pocket so that whoever ends up using it down the road can feel confident that they have the right kind of filtering because they can insert it themselves. No patience. I guess if I were truly a seamstress, I would have pinned that all down, but ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. Now we've got the interface is obviously going to have to go on the inside. So you're going to want to make sure the front side is down. And then this is where my handy dandy vacuum cleaner bag is coming in actually critical need. So by definition, vacuum cleaner bags have microfiltering inside. It's not surgical grade, but I've seen a couple studies because, of course, like I'm a researcher extraordinaire. I am not going to do anything if I, you know, don't research it first. That the vacuum cleaner bags actually came in second after surgical masks in terms of effectiveness. So I try really hard not to rip it because, you know, holes and COVID do not get along. Well, COVID loves them. Oh, that's what she said. So, but again, like if I sit here and be meticulous and it takes me an hour to do this, like that doesn't help anybody anyway because, okay, so look at this beautiful vacuum cleaner fabric. I'm sure that, oh, see, there we go. Pull that out. Oh, it's like gold. If gold were white and completely disintegrated when touched with an iron. So, hey, pro tip. Do not touch an iron to this stuff. Hello. Hi, friends. I've already warned my family I'm going to be making these videos this week, so just be mindful of what you say. All right, so, oh, and there it goes. It's like cotton candy. So don't touch the vacuum filter to the iron. So the way that I've been doing it is putting the front side down, cutting off a piece of the vacuum bag filter that's smaller than the interfacing. But again, I don't measure, I eyeball because I'm already bored. All right, now if I put this down, oh shit, where'd my interfacing go? Oh, there we go. Am I interfacing on top of it? So we've got something pretty good there. The extras around the edges aren't going to matter because that's where the seams are going to go. And I'm going to turn this upside down to iron because it's fusible interfacing. It's going to kind of stick to the fabric a little bit. And there we go. And there's one level of the fabric with a filter. So the next step is going to be the sewing, but I'm going to leave it there for now because I think this is a good opportunity to kind of get a sense of what sizes you want to make. The 9 and 11 seems to be pretty standard, because by the time I think you've got a seam, then you're going to fold it again. You've got something about that size. But I'm thinking for my, there seems to be a large shortage for men's masks. So for some of my other ones, my other ones, I'm going to actually go with more, I think, 12 to 14 and kind of see how they turn out. So I'll leave you with this. In the next video, I will actually sew this sucker. All right, à bientôt.